I'll
to
pay
hold that
them.
piss.
I'll I'll pay for the porta potty, and I'll see how much the caterer is going to charge me. I put a little menu together last night. The barbecue brisket with mashed potato and gravy and asparagus.
Barbecue
That'll
biscuit
be
with mashed potato and gravy. Oof.
and asparagus.
Mm,
That'll be one meal, and then the other one would be the smothered
mm.
fried chicken with gravy,
Smothered fried
um,
chicken and
with
gravy.
yellow rice and a tossed salad.
Mm.
That'll be the other option, so they can have either one of those as their meal. Um, have chicken and brisket. Only those two. I X'd out the fish. Just those two would be their option.
Okay.
Okay, but I do not, it's not going to be a self serve. I want people, I'm going to need a person at
Oh
each
shit! I
station.
missed my
What?
turn. I missed my
Oh,
turn. Listening to you.
oh.
Oh, I got to that food part. I forgot which way I'm going. Just went right on past. I
Yes.
know I'm hungry.
Yeah. I don't, what we going to do tonight? It's Friday, no food. You know, it's Friday.
I guess I have to look at you.
Oh, okay.
We look at each other.
Got your son. Got this son. Well, I got to get back to this front
What
desk.
time you getting off?
3 o'clock I should be leaving here.
Okay, that means you'll be
Uh,
home by 5.
I'm in Johns Creek.
Yeah, that means 5.
Uh, Sugarloaf. Okay.
And then we'll figure it out from there.
All right. All right.
So I
Love you.
got
I'll
it.
call you later.
Right.
Okay. Okay. You got a what? What?
I got
Hello?
an hour and a half ride back home. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
I won't get
So,
home till 2 o'clock, I guess.
all right. So I'll call you right back. Let me just relieve this girl for lunch.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Bye. Just not miss any turns, buddy. Positive energy brings positive money. Gives you a positive account. Let's go this way. Take this off. This is North Gainesville. And we head to the Cribbo. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what else we got here. Turn on Truman Mountain Road. Turn on. It's hot now. It is 50 degrees outside, but the sun is up, which means I need to do the brakes. Get that out the way. See if I can hear the brakes. I don't hear neither one of them. Is this thing charged up yet? It should be. Oh my God. Okay. Shit, this bad boy is off too. Now if I take 53, State Road 53 to Winder, because I know this something's going to take me too far away. two of them down here. There you go, two. They just lined up side by side. Circle K down here. What they say? Let's see. What they say? 294. What they say? 294. 289. Keep going. And go past because he looks like he's rumbling. Jerry D. Jackson Bridge. Right on McEver. Valero. Go for it, Valero. So we got Valero, Park Hill Drive, and Fine Gas. Dawsonville Highway. Traffic like a mother. Valero. This is on Lanier Valley Drive. 1724. And Old Clark's Bridge Road. Let's see if this is it. What's the address here? $12.96. This is it right here. Activate. View offer.
Warned against oligarchs and extreme wealth. I'm just wondering, do you have you seen any evidence of Biden doing anything about the oligarchy during his 4 years of presidency?
Nope.
that he warns about?
Well, in fairness, he has been on domestic issues the most progressive president since FDR. And we've created millions of jobs.
Didn't
We're
answer
building
the
our
question.
infrastructure. He was the first president to take on the pharmaceutical
Didn't answer the
industry and
question.
lower the cost of prescription drugs. No small things. I know that he wanted to raise the minimum wage. In terms of the American Relief Act that we passed
Didn't
during
answer the
COVID,
question.
we cut childhood poverty
Just say no.
by 40%, extended unemployment. We have put more money into sustainable
me.
energy
Boy,
and
didn't
energy
answer.
efficiency, combating climate change than any president in history. So he has a strong record. But if your question is, do I think, and by the way, it is no small thing that the President of the United States said what is absolutely true. And Jake, we don't talk about this enough. And that is when you got three people on top who own more wealth than the bottom half of American society, 170 million.
See how
You know
you
what?
didn't
That's
answer the
oligarchy.
question.
When you have mass separation of ownership in our economy, fewer and fewer
Run
corporations
his damn mouth.
owning and controlling the economy, that's oligarchy. When you have more and more billionaires, whether it's Musk owning Twitter or Murdoch owning Fox, other billionaires owning newspapers, that's oligarchy. And lastly, and most importantly, and I think Biden made this point, is we have just come through an election where you get one vote, I get one vote, but billionaires were able to spend many hundreds of millions of dollars to elect or defeat the candidates that they wanted. You add all of that up, massive concentration of ownership, massive income and wealth inequality, massive amounts of political power. You know what? You just can't go around saying, well, Russia and Putin, they're an oligarchy, but we're not. You know what? We are.
So
you got Bernie Sanders here,
Avoided the question.
Senator Bernie Sanders, who just declared President Biden to be one of the most successful Democratic presidents since FDR. He says history will be very kind to Joe Biden. Perhaps, maybe, as kind as Barack Obama is to these extremely young girls on a balcony that he's begging to sing to him. Now, normally I would say that these seemingly teenage age girls are probably a little too old for Barack Obama, but I think it's strange because I didn't think Barack was into women or females. But either way, you got Bernie Sanders here dogging, like it's almost like the message has been corrupt. I guess that's not the best word to use here. Amongst the Democrats, as far as what their ultimate goal and objective is. You got Mr. Socialism himself. God forbid you make more money than you should and have more money than him, and then you have too much money. See how that works? After I rip my glasses off my face. But at the same time, Joe Biden just said he's always been a capitalist. If you want to make $1 million, great. Speaking of which, Joe Biden's got a shitload of money. You think Bernie Sanders knows that?
I think so. No. Remember, she said we have Trump coming and all the bad things about concentration of wealth. Americans appreciate the ability to pursue the American dream every day, and we do not push down on success ever. So yes, Musk is rich. So what? Zuck.
I don't think
rich.
The issue is how
and
rich
everybody else comes to this country almost drowning in rivers or getting cut under barbed wires to get in here to pursue their dream. Why do we ever think that we should bash their success?
Actually,
What are you
not
guys
about
talking about?
I want you to get it, but let me just say this. It is not about how rich they are.
Exactly.
Just to observe what he's
They're not
talking
rich
about.
enough, is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying that actually what got them there, Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, Jeff Bezos, they all got to where they are because they came up with good ideas. They built big, good businesses.
Let's punish them.
And no. And they did so largely without having to do what they are doing now. The fact that they have to do it now, I think, actually is a change for them. They were not going to Washington themselves groveling toward the political leaders to try to keep their businesses afloat.
Letting people get rich. It's about not letting rich people control the political process and not having our politicians captured by those rich people such
It's
that they
fair,
can't institute
but I just want you to know the country-
and common sense laws to make sure that the people at the top don't abuse the people at the bottom. And our system in Washington is broken.
That's fair. It's all fair, but half the country's still wondering how Joe Biden got rich.
Yeah, okay, so here...
How did he get rich?
But if
Okay,
Joe
here's
Biden
the
got
thing.
rich...
How did he get rich? Does anybody understand how that
I
happened?
actually think that, Kevin, your question about Joe Biden's legacy and how he will be seen is
wrote a book,
actually
by the way.
extremely important
Well,
because I think it's not just Republicans who are asking the question, is Joe Biden going to be looked back on fondly? Democrats are too.
Look, guys, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think that Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Tesla or Amazon or SpaceX or Boring or I'm trying to think of all the other companies that they're associated with, but it doesn't really matter. I don't think that any of them were groveling with Washington to keep their businesses afloat. I mean, really, if you want to split hairs, it seems like it was almost the other way around. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were actually giving money away, disguising it as the Inflation Reduction Act.
So interesting developments, some of them topical today. And some of you all have heard me talk about this, but I think this should be an outrage, really, to every tax-paying citizen. We're talking about the Inflation Reduction Act, which is almost 2 years old as of this August. And it also, I noticed in the president's schedule that he was getting briefed on the Inflation Reduction Act. So I'm sure he got this briefing while he was being briefed on the Inflation Reduction Act, which we have renamed Invest in Radical Activities Act, because that's what this is about. Vice President Harris. So let's go over to the following one. I say follow the money because I think that's where you find out. The first one is climate justice. It's up on the top right-hand bar there, $100 million. They have glorified Hamas in a lot of their social media, on their websites and other things. And they think Israel has no right to exist. They're getting $100 million. This is a direct grant to them. The next one is the NDN Collective. You know them? Yes, they're a partner. Yes, they on their social media call the United States a so-called country and also call for the defunding of the police and our United States military. Imagine that in these times right now. Next, we have two New York and New Jersey coalitions that are getting $50 million. They're actually going to be participating in granting $50 million. Their quotes are, the border and concept of citizenship is racist, and wants no collaboration with federal immigration officials, and the ICE agenda is racist as well. Then we have the social and environmental entrepreneurs, $50 million. Again, abolish police, abolish prisons. The latest one, and those previous ones I'm talking about were all announced in December by the Vice President and named on the EPA's materials as they rolled them out through the press. The Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, the most recent funding was announced last week, is getting between $1 and $3 million, and they are actively advocating to defund police, decriminalize shoplifting, and abolish our prisons. So I think that that this uncovers quite a bit of the $3 billion. We're up to $200 million, actually a little bit more than that, if you count everything all in. And this is just the lack of accountability.
And again, breaking. Senator Bernie Sanders just declared President Biden one of the most successful Democratic presidents since FDR, and history will be very kind to Joe. But I guess you should be, right? I mean, all the terrible things that Joe Biden has done and has been involved in can kind of be ignored, kind of be forgiven, right? Because he's old, he's senile, he doesn't know what he's doing, better yet, who he is, or even what year it is. Joe Biden says, "You've heard Barack get mad at me when I was a kid."
What?
What?
You've heard Barack get mad at me when I was a kid all the time. He said, I know, all politics is personal.
When you were a kid, he wasn't even born.
It's about understanding what motivates the other guy, other woman, and what their interests are.
Joe Biden, I don't even think he's fit to take a shit and wipe his own ass anymore, really, if you think about it. But we got to listen to what he's saying, because the Democrats, they tell you what they're going to do before they ever do it, right? And he says you got to understand what motivates the other guy or other woman and what their interests are, which we discussed before. Joe Biden is interested in protecting his crime family, and he will do so by any means necessary. But while he still has the authority, the ability to, he would prefer to pardon, or at least preemptively pardon, those who are likely to be sequestered and required to give their own deposition.
Can you just give us a sense of what other pardons and commutations you're considering in your last 10 days?
Well, the answer is no, because there's two things. One is that it depends on some of the
Hello?
Against oligarchs and extreme.
Those who are likely to be sequestered and required to give their own deposition.
Can you just give us a sense of what other pardons and commutations you're considering in your last 10 days?
Well, the answer is no, because there's two things. One is that it depends on some of the language and expectations that Trump broadcast in the last couple of days here as to what he's going to do. The idea that he would punish people for not adhering to what he thinks should be policies related to his well-being is outrageous. But there's still consideration of some folks, nothing but no decision.
Thanks. Have you talked about what kind of post-presidency?
Which is exactly why we've seen in these most recent Senate confirmation hearings and
Got questions being asked.
many reasons, indications pointing towards why I so dislike Adam Schiff. And there's panic in DC. Retribution is coming. They know it. Biden is the only one who can save them, protect them, theoretically. And even this here, it's a quote, Pam Bondi, seen here under oath. Mr. Schiff, you're asking me if we're going to investigate Jack Smith or Liz Cheney. Are there any more names that you can provide me with that we shouldn't investigate so I can add that into my list?
Let me start with one very specific, non-hypothetical. The president has said Jack Smith should go to jail. Will you investigate Jack Smith?
Senator, I haven't seen the file. I haven't seen the investigation. I haven't looked at anything. It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment regarding anything without, you're a long practicing attorney, without looking at a file.
So you would need a factual predicate to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
Not a summary by you sitting here. Yes, sir.
And this is merely fishing by Adam Schiff to determine who Donald Trump wants to prosecute legally for the crimes that they have committed, so that Joe Biden can then be relayed this information and potentially issue a preemptive pardon for Jack Smith.
Let me ask you a different simple question. The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney. Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that question.
No, it's not hypothetical. I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one has asked me to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a hypothetical.
The president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president
Liz.
has.
We're also worried about Liz Cheney.
The president has.
You know what we should be worried about?
Ms. Bondi, please answer my questions.
California right now is through the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
your robberies are 87% higher than the national average.
My question is this.
That's what I want to be focused on, Senator.
Do you have the power to say no to the president?
Adam Schiff asking, do you have the power to say no to the president? Please, God, I hope so, because I know he's coming for me next. And Adam Schiff, who really more than likely should be concerned far more with the crime rate in California right now, which is through the roof. Robberies are 87% higher than the national average. And you're questioning Pam Bondi on whether or not she's going to prosecute Liz Cheney because Trump called for it publicly? I mean, it's almost like Adam Schiff seems like he's freaking retarded. I mean, everybody knows that Donald Trump has made multiple posts about Liz Cheney. So to think that he doesn't have any interest in her and her involvement in so many different corrupt matters, but more importantly, January 6th in this unselect committee, sure. But the president didn't specifically ask Pam Bondi to prosecute her. You're fishing here. You're fishing. And if you or Joe Biden can't figure that out by now, then y'all need to have your heads examined. But I don't think it's from a standpoint of them just being absolute idiots. I think they're trying to figure out, is it better to pardon and we'll lose our ability to not divulge incriminating information as they will relinquish their ability to plead the fifth? Or do they roll the dice and see how many years in prison Liz Cheney will get?
Let me ask you what should be a simple truth, not a hard one. Was there massive fraud affecting the result of the 2020 election, yes or no?
Senator, I'm glad you asked that question. If you'll let me answer what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I asked a simple question about massive fraud.
I can only tell you what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I know you want to answer a different question, but my question is, can you tell us whether there was massive fraud affecting the results of the 2020 election, yes or no? Was there or was there not? I can tell
you what I saw when I went as an advocate to the campaign.
That's not my question. So you can't answer that question. You can't speak that even easy truth to us, let alone to the president.
Notice how if she doesn't say exactly what he wants her to say, he just gets mad and starts yelling over her. And also quickly, I feel like now's a good time to mention that 15 of our states don't even have voter ID laws. You literally don't even need to have an ID to vote in just about a third of the states in our nation. But voter fraud is impossible, right? Yeah, give me a break.
And now it seems as though Adam Schiff's really just drilling down on not who will be potentially prosecuted, but for what reasons. And really, election fraud, election interference, January 6th, Liz Cheney destroying evidence. Come on, Adam. Really?
So will it be your advice to the president, Mr. President? I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
And
for
will
the
you be able to
pardons, as well
will
as
you
the
be able to
ongoing
review
investigation.
hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am
Of course
asked
you
to
won't.
look
So
at.
will you advise the president?
Can I
will
answer
you-
the question?
Well, my question
I would
is-
have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review
Listen, I'm
hundreds
not
of
going to
cases on first day?
mislead this body nor you.
Okay, first off,
Matt Moore's TV crushed this video yesterday. Trump's AG Pam Bondi just flipped the script on Adam Schiff. She just cooked. And I watched it yesterday and I thought to myself, man, this is definitely going to be a hit. And sure enough, it was. And I'm just going to leave it to Matt to tell you guys exactly the same thoughts and opinions and feelings and sentiments that I had, on top of the added statistical data that he pulled that really kind of paints the picture here to put things into perspective. Watch.
anyone on Trump's pardon list, they've already had years to look over and go through. He's not just pulling names out of a hat. But also, I have to say, this is so incredibly rich to hear Adam Schiff, of all people, freak out about Trump's pardons when Biden just got done pardoning over 8,000 people, the most pardons by any president ever by over a factor of 2, and after just one term. And as you can see, Biden has now pardoned 56 times more people than Trump, the most pardons in U.S. presidential history. And I'm supposed to sit here and be super critical of Trump's upcoming pardons? Do you think Senator Schiff held Biden to these same standards? Yeah, absolutely not. But okay, so what else does Senator Schiff have to say?
It will also be important for you to be able to preserve the records, the evidence of the department. Are you ready to commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch?
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult with ethical officials in the
Do
department.
you see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January 6th investigation? Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee, we will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation? Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against President Trump that was false? Is that why you're frightened now? I can't believe this is even...
Why do you have difficulty answering that question?
I can't believe
Why do you
you're
have
asking
difficulty?
such a question.
Why do you have difficulty promising to preserve evidence at the Department of Justice? Why is that a difficult question?
I will follow the law.
Following the law, huh? I bet that's a pretty weird concept to a guy like Adam Schiff, don't you think?
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. And thank you, Graham Banks Cole, with this post this morning. Good morning, X family. And we see just 3 days left. 3.
Folks in the chat, I genuinely want to hear your opinion. You like this law, you hate this law, because you guys are what matters. Let's clear something up, though. It is not a ban. It is not a ban. It is not a First Amendment issue on its face. The law basically says that TikTok is fine as long as it divests from its attachment to the Chinese Communist Party. I just told you I disagree with the law, but it's really important that we don't get emotional about it and we speak about what the law actually is, not what people want it to be. Because for political reasons, people on both sides of the aisle trying to blame everyone else because TikTok is popular and think they're going to get the youth vote. That's what's behind this. They're like, Donald Trump banned TikTok. Joe Biden banned TikTok. Chuck Schumer banned TikTok. John Thune banned. You see what they're doing? It's not a ban. They have said to the Chinese Communist Party, at least affiliated people running TikTok, you cannot have this attachment and have this media presence in the United States. That's what they've said. TikTok has an amended, they've almost made the decision, if they go offline Sunday, to ban themselves. Again, I disagree with it. I'm just telling you what it is. Why? Because TikTok could sell the company. Now, you may say, Dan, well, that's a Hobson's choice. It's either this horse or no horse at all. Okay, fair enough. But it is not a de jure ban. Maybe it's a de facto one. I'll settle on that. TikTok doesn't want to sell. They're saying we'd rather pull the thing off the market. Well, I guess we'll see what happens on Sunday. Again, quickly before I move on to Secret Service and other things that were all over the news. Again, I got 1,000 phone calls last night. I've told people, just listen to the damn show. I promise you, I'm not going to hide anything from you, okay? I disagree with the bill. Why? Because, folks, it is not a secret that the Chinese Communist Party has at least some degree of attachment to TikTok. And yes, they are absolutely using it for propaganda and to probably harvest data. You know that. I know that. I use TikTok. I use it for show prep because it's good for clips. I am well aware of the fact that they are probably monitoring what's going on in my account. Folks, my For You page is about Caesar, the Roman Empire, life hacks, cold plunges, the effects of sauna, Dr. Rhonda, Huberman. I mean, I don't really know what they could be harvesting. I'm on there on a separate phone. I use that phone for show prep. I don't know. If you don't like it, then don't use the app. I'm a big boy rules guy. I'm sorry. I mean, there's a guy on Twitter this morning, trashing me on, Dan Bongino on Rumble. I said, the guy's on Rumble.
Bedroom. That's where they found 55-year-old Jose Rene Portillo's body, wrapped in 2 garbage bags. His employer had sent him to collect the overdue rent. When he didn't hear from him all day, he called cops for a welfare check. Portillo was beloved by residents in the complex.
Nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Always down to talk and have a conversation and help out.
He's absolutely very nice guy. He was always helping everyone. He was always on the street, going and coming back the whole day. You see him over here. Everybody know him. And whenever we need him, we ask him, and he always help everyone.
And this lets you know that you can't put anything past anybody, even if they're 4'5". Don't underestimate them. I know a lot of people will say, oh man, never deal with a woman or never put your gut. Listen, bro. She killed a guy that was coming in to ask for the rent for the landlord. And he was the building superintendent. That dude was just doing his job like everybody else. And he lost his life because of some little demon that's walking around, didn't want to pay rent. Even her husband was out here taking care of business and going to work every day. And she should have went and got her job herself. But, idle mind is the devil's workshop. And then last but not least, the latest update on TikTok.
Tonight, a major reversal concerning one of America's most popular apps. The White House saying they will not implement the ban on TikTok, set to go into effect this Sunday, according to 2 administration officials.
I really feel like this is happening because of us.
The fight isn't over. It's just going to be extended.
The battle over the future of the app has gone all the way to the Supreme Court, but now the administration says it won't enforce massive fines on the companies who provide users access to TikTok. It's a stark shift from when the law was passed with massive bipartisan support, the president signing it into law.
It feels like we're losing,
Look at this, got friendships that you really prioritize and other people getting a leg up on. That's why, in my opinion, I still don't understand why a lot of these people, I understand why some people, I don't understand why a lot of these people wind up running for office. You basically put a target on your back because you have to abide by all the rules. See, if I have my own private company and I say, well, you know what? I want to leverage nepotism, and so I'm always going to bring all my friends in. I still need them to do their job, but I'm going to go ahead and get my contracts and my business to all of the people that recommend other people that's rocking with me. I don't have to go through a competitive bid process. I don't have to have all of these rules and regulations because I'm not extending taxpayer dollars. This is my own money. I can do what I want to do. But when you start playing with other people's monies and contracts and all of this stuff, you have to be 1,000% cross your T's, dot your I's. It don't even matter if you did something that you didn't know that you did something wrong. You're still responsible for doing what you're supposed to do. It does not, I just wouldn't. I would have to have nothing better to do and to truly want to be a public servant if I was to ever run for office. That's just my opinion. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to hold it down, go on to the next subject. Radical genocide of the United States of America. And I thought that this would be an interesting conversation. So let's take a look.
Senator Grassley, I enjoyed visiting you in your office, and will remind you that when we were talking about the American agriculture, that I may be the first Treasury Secretary nominee in a long time who knows what a section is, 642 acres, and am involved in the farming business. And yes, we do not have a revenue problem in the United States of America. We have a spending problem. That historically, for the past 40 or 50 years, revenues, federal government revenues, have averaged about 17 to 17.5% of GDP. And spending has been slightly over that, leading us to a 3.5% budget deficit, which is manageable because we have roughly 3.8% nominal growth, 1.8% real growth, 2% inflation. Today, as you stated, and to be clear, this is one of the things that got me out from behind my desk and my quiet life in this campaign, was the thought that this spending is out of control. We are spending about 25% of GDP. So as you said, 6.8 to 7% deficit. We have never seen this before when it is not a recession or not a war. And I am concerned because several times the Treasury of the United States has been called upon to save the nation, whether it was the Civil War, the Great Depression, World War II, or the recent COVID epidemic. Treasury, along with full government and Congress, has used its borrowing capacity to save the Union, to save the world, and to save the American people. And what we currently have now, we would be hard pressed to do same.
So what he's basically saying is that we're acting like we're in a recession. We're acting like we're in a war. They've been marketing to us over the last 4 years that the economy is better than ever, when in reality, we've been propping it up with borrowing that we should not be borrowing from and that we should not be doing. And if the economy is so great, because see, listen, if you're talking about a 2008, then it makes sense for us to borrow money the way that we've been borrowing and spending money. If you're talking about a pandemic, then it makes sense for us to borrow money the way that we've been borrowing money. We shouldn't, in my opinion, even be in a position where we have to borrow money. We should have been operating at a surplus for so long. Listen, forget Trump. Forget Obama. Forget all of these presidents in our lifetime. We've been robbing Peter to pay Paul and propping up this economy and robbing ourselves, so much so that the reason why inflation is the way that it is because it's not even backed by anything other than our belief and the world's belief in it as a reserve currency. We have put ourselves against the wall so much so to where at this point we are operating like we are in a war. Not that we're funding a war, like we're in a war. We spend the same way that consumers have been spending in regular life within our government branches. We have no discipline. We absolutely 100% just continue to rob ourselves and not even robbing ourselves. We're robbing our children and our children's children's future because the way that they manage this budget. And it's crazy because when we proposed an audit, when we said, hey, the Department of Government Efficiency should step in and figure out where all of the waste is going from, do you know that they actually oppose that? That shouldn't even be something that's a bipartisan disagreement. You shouldn't have Republicans or Democrats disagreeing with the idea that we need to go through and do a government audit and figure out where your tax dollars is going. I want to know where my wife is spending my money. I mean, listen, she got free reign to kind of do what she want to do because I know that she got some sense. She got free reign to do what she got to do in order to make some sense. But when I just started seeing some craziness, I'm like, wait a minute, did you just buy a horse? I I do an audit within my own budget. I bring the whole family together. Okay, Les. My daughter will tell you. All right, Les, let me sit you down for a minute. Listen, you've been going crazy. She started laughing. She started giggling. Dad, I just seen some stuff at the mall. I just had to have. I just need my drip to be right. All right, Les, but you know, it's a time for everything. It's a time to hustle, and then it's a time to rein it in. All right? Listen, you getting a little crazy now. See, Rita started laughing because she know what it is. She's getting a little crazy now. And Rita says she'll be listening. See, my family is just like the government. I sit them down. They say, oh, okay. All right, Anton. We're going to do things the right way. And Rita and Les, they go right back to doing what they was doing prior to. They wait 2 weeks. They wait 2 weeks and they say, no, we've been really good. Rita told me the other day. Let me tell you what she told me 2 days ago. This is what she said 2 days ago. Because I'm him. I'm Scott. Rita and Les is the government. And now y'all can apply this to your own family. I said the other day, oh, actually, this wasn't even the other day. This was 2 days ago. We was on the plane. So we looking. She says, man, you know, we've been spending these crazy amounts every single month. And so I slowly broke it down to her and I said, okay, cool. So I pulled up the laptop. We sitting up there. Got a long flight. Might as well have this conversation on the plane, right? So then I pull up the accounts. I say, so listen, let me show you how it is that y'all operating. I don't even touch this card. This is between you and your daughter. She goes, that ain't on me. I be spending my own money. I said, Rita, it all come out of the same pot. My pocket though, right? I mean, but if I transfer it to myself, see that they got these little games that they play where they think that if they transfer money into their accounts and then they spend it, that's technically not them spending money on this card, but it's them spending money based off of their own discretion. It's the same thing that Congress does. They rob Peter to pay Paul. Rob Peter to pay Paul. And then this is what they do. Okay, you know what? I do have a spending problem. I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna get my life together, right? They wait 2 weeks. They plan together. They wait 2 weeks. And then they start to slowly ramp it back up. Like the spending bill that we just had over the last couple of weeks. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. This is his exchange with Bernie Sanders about all of the billionaires. This is crazy, bro.
Over half the American people who
I don't ask for it, but that just shows you that
has to be here. We not the same migrants that y'all constantly come up against. We didn't run away from home. We were stolen.
You wasn't
so yeah,
stolen.
we are going to sit here and be offended when you want to sit here and act like and don't let it escape you that it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed.
I don't know what she's talking about, do you?
Nope.
What is all that for? It's a performance. What's the point? So Mark Zuckerberg, he announced that he's ending DEI programs at Meta or Facebook. But it's not just Mark Zuckerberg. We're seeing a change across multiple corporations.
McDonald's now says it's ending some of its diversity, equity, and inclusion practices.
You also got Target, McDonald's, Lowe's, Ford, Meta, Tractor Supply Company, you name it.
Tonight, a major change up in the corporate world as tech behemoths Amazon and Meta are dialing back their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
Let me be the first to say, Black America, don't fall for the hype. Don't let the talking heads gaslight you into believing that this was some huge initiative that was benefiting Black America, because it wasn't. In this video, I'm going to go over exactly what DEI did and what it didn't do, and how we were played like a fiddle for the benefit of other groups. If you found out that DEI did not help Black Americans to an extent that was worthwhile, would you be disappointed, and would you finally accept that maybe these people that do all this talking for a living aren't being straight with you? I'm going to prove it to you right here in this video. I'm Tim Black. This is Next on Tim Black. Diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives are designed to what? Recruit, maintain a workforce that affects a wide range of backgrounds. Mark Zuckerberg says ending his diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity and equity and inclusion, the diversity part includes all subsections: age, disability, ethnicity, gender, race, religion, orientation. Okay? Then we have the equity part. Include fair treatment, access, opportunity, and advancement for all people, including addressing systemic obstacles for all of the above mentioned. Inclusion. Create an environment where all employees feel valued. You all feel valued. Respected and supported, which involves cultural changes in the office. Once again, I saw a lot of people talking about this. They're pissed off at Mark Zuckerberg. Particularly, I saw some Black people pissed off. Oh my God, I'm angry. Mark Zuckerberg is taking away DEI. Stop listening to Democrats. Yeah, you. Stop listening to them. Stop believing that they're being honest with you. I mean, seriously, do yourself a favor. If when you find out that Mark Zuckerberg made this statement, well, if this is your first time hearing it, and your initial response was you were upset, you need to be glued into what I'm talking about right now. Real talk. Somebody got to help you out. Somebody got to inform you. I'm going to take that responsibility right now. It's my job to educate you about why this ain't no big deal. I don't give a shit what Roland Martin says. I don't give a damn what Joy Reid says. I don't much care what Karen Hunter says or none of the rest of them. You understand what I'm saying? You get where I'm coming from? Let me explain to you why. It's not because Trump my daddy. Trump's my daddy. I love Trump. It's not because of no shit. It got anything to do with Trump. It's because, folks, I asked a very simple question. Is there data that explains how DEI programs have impacted groups? Yeah, so if we upset about something going away, first you got to prove to me that it was helping my ass. So that's the thing about you people. You got to understand, the Democrats love to start stuff. They love to do things, get a little further in the hat. How much was it helping Black people? I bullshit down to that. Hey, Afro Elite, my brother, young brother out there. Shout out to you and Dwan. Dwan being Afro Elite. Shout out to y'all. Whenever I'm looking at something, I'm always boiling it down to how it affects Black America. How does this affect us? To my white people that watch the show, people that rock with me like Buck, Rob, Black Mamba, the others, May, many of you. Before you jump out the gym and say, what's wrong with Tim? If you support Black Americans because you support me, the question I'm saying is, how much do you think the DEI programs help Black Americans? Don't think they do just because it says DEI. You falling for the trick. You falling for the banana in the tailpipe, folks. Listen. I hear this issue framed as a boom for Black Americans, but its implementation, DEI sought to empower, recruit, and maintain a workforce that reflects a wide range of backgrounds, including but not limited to race, gender, ethnicity, age, religion, disability, sexual orientation. Do we have any hard numbers that would point to how DEI and Facebook specifically created some opportunities for Black Americans? And then I got real down and dirty with these large language models. I said, not dark-skinned people. Not people from Sudan or Nigeria, or even India. I said Black Americans. How much has DEI programs in Facebook helped Black Americans? Got any numbers? Here goes the response. While there is data on the overall impact of DEI programs in the workplace, it can be challenging to find specific data, particularly on how DEI programs in Facebook may have impacted the hiring and advancement of Black Americans, specifically as opposed to other underrepresented groups. So here's my thing. First of all, DEI is supposed to help a lot of people. Everybody except Black men. I'm sorry. DEI is supposed to help everybody except white guys. If you had to guess, if you have been in America for more than 2 minutes, if you've been a smart person or a person of reasonable intelligence, if you know anything about the history of America, if Black people are up against anybody else, how much you want to bet when the money got counted at the end of the day, we got the least amount? Get what I'm saying? Like, disabled people can be white too, right? Can they be white men too? You're not following me, man. It says religion. Jewish people can be white too, right? Or look white, right? You understand what I'm saying? DI don't mean black, fool. That's just some shit Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson and Pat Bet David and these other goofies float you brought into it. That's bullshit. DEI helps Black people less than everybody else. And I do mean everybody else. From Eskimos, Native Americans, Chinese, Japanese, Jewish people, gay people, and trans people of all colors except Black, because Black come first. We'll talk about that more later. All other groups benefit from DEI more than we do. And I got a bunch of Black people leading the way, crying in they damn chicken wings with marble sauce over the idea it might be going away. You ain't getting nothing anyway. As usual, you just the fall guy for the shit. You're not getting anything for it. You're not really benefiting from it. All these other groups are eating off of you. And you allow it, and you get behind it. And that, my friend, is the game. That's the game the Democrats have been running. I even tell Mrs. Black, I say, baby, you got to understand my hatred for the Republicans and for the Democrats, but mostly for the Democrats.